everybody. My name is Brian Larry. I'm glad you could join us today for the How to Start a Food Truck. Lots of content we're going to give you guys here today to hopefully help you go out there and start your food truck. If you have any questions, please drop those questions in the comments. As we see those questions come through, we'll unmute yourself and we'll have a conversation. Please mute yourself. That way we don't get a bunch of background noise if you're not talking. But first off, I want to start with talking to my partners on this opportunity here. Patrick, we'll start with you. I know you're on two different meetings, so let's go ahead and let you talk about who you are, what you do, and how can you add value to this workshop.
How's it going, everybody? I hope I can add some value. I've been in the food truck manufacturing industry for the past going on 5 years now. 5 years ago, I was let go from a CFO position of a restaurant group in Houston and decided to go out on my own, start a food truck manufacturing company in early 2018. Been doing that ever since, and our business has been growing steadily, and obviously the pandemic and other reasons put some fuel on that fire and growth. And so we help about 25 to 30 food truck owners a month get started, grow, or expand their food truck businesses all over the US. We have clients in almost every state. I'll rephrase that. We have clients in every state in the United States of America. Well, our company, Trailer King Builders, pretty much just facilitates the process in understanding how to get open, how to pass inspection, and how to thrive as a food truck owner.
I love that, man. Everything you just said made me smile, man, because that's honestly what a good food truck owner needs. They need that support group. They need that knowledge to move forward. I mean, as long as they can cook good food and they have that knowledge, I mean, it's a no-brainer at that point. They should be a successful business. So, Bill, let's go. Let's talk to you. Who you are? How can you add value to this workshop? Unmute yourself, Bill.
Like I said, I think, I must have just started operating this computer last week. But good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bill Erickson. I'm the owner of Rapid Refill Inc. in Fargo and also Total Imaging. I'm the founder of Total Imaging 18 years ago in January 2005. And we've been going strong ever since. I also taught business classes for Rasmussen University for 10 years as an adjunct instructor. So I know a bit about business, and not just being in it, but also having taught that information. So I should be able to help people with forming a business and things you need to think about. Nice.
And so one of the things that I love that you do is when it comes to like swag, when it comes to having that and I call it content, because in the sense of where if I can buy a sweatshirt or a hat from you, every time I see that sweatshirt or hat or pin or cup or something, it makes me think of your business, correct?
Yeah, that's true. We, if you can put your name on it, we can do it for you in terms of promotional products and decorated clothing. That's what Total Imaging is all about. And we work with a lot of small to medium-sized businesses.
Nice, I love it. I'm excited to have you be a part of this, Bill.
Thank you.
The time today. So first off, I mean, let's talk about how to start a food truck, right? How do we start a food truck? One of the biggest things that I tell everybody, you want to start off by vetting your idea. Who wants your thing? If you don't know who wants your thing, you're going to be spending tons of money and time spinning your wheels trying to find that customer. So the first thing you should do before you open up a food truck is go out there and let people taste your food. Don't be afraid to go to events and offer free samples, things like that, to get people tasting your food. Because once people taste your food, there's an opportunity that they may become a customer, so that when you do open up your food truck, you already have that existing customer base and your truck just thrives. Patrick, can I ask you a question? When you look at talking to your customers, when they come to you about buying a food truck, how do you have them vet their ideas? How do you have them make sure that they have a thing before they start purchasing a food truck?
From the start, we don't really get involved much in the food process of the concept, but we do need to understand where they're at in that, right? One of the first things I ask them is if they're passionate about being in a hot kitchen all day, right? Because when you start a food truck or a restaurant business or any business that is food related and you're in a hot kitchen, It's going to be grueling. It's going to suck. It's going to be hot, and it's not going to be easy.
Yep.
I know there's a lot of businesses out there that are the same, right? They're going to be hot. They're not going to be easy, but we need to understand how passionate they are before they go and invest 30, 40, 50,000, 60,000, upwards of $100,000 into a concept. At the end of the day, knowing that you're passionate about it, knowing what you want to serve, right? Maybe you got recipes handed down from your grandparents, or maybe you're passionate about, you're a barbecue legend in your area and you want to start offering that to people. Knowing what you want to serve is going to be critical in understanding how to design a food truck.
Yep, agreed. And that'll dive into our 2-point here. What is that concept? Bill, just in the business space period, I mean, do you talk to businesses about vetting their ideas before they run out there and like he spend 50, 60, $100,000 on getting going?
Absolutely, Brian. You got to make sure there's a market for the product that you have, and do the market research so that when you open up, you're going to have a customer base. And I think part of that is a business plan, or this lean canvas that you provided, which is really a simple business plan. So I think it's very important to do those things.
Agreed. And Patrick kind of chimed in a little bit already, but that concept, what is the thing you want to sell? So now you have the food you want to sell, but what is it? I talked to food trucks. One lady, she had about 100 menu items, and it just blew my mind. Like, why would you have 100 menu items in this small area? That's just too much material you have to carry around in hopes to be able to sell that. So coming up with that right concept, that's huge. Like Patrick said, if you have that family recipe that's been handed down, or you're that barbecue king, what does that concept look like that? Because other people sell barbecue, other people sell burgers, other people sell tacos. How is your concept going to be completely different from what everyone else is doing out there that draws people to your business to buy your food? We'll talk about writing a business plan now. When you talk about writing a business plan, I sent out a lean Canva earlier. Some people get, in a sense, stressed out when they think about writing a business plan, because there's so much that goes into an actual physical business plan, which you truly will never need unless you're looking at investors, or you're looking to get money into your business or bringing on partners. A true business plan, I mean, you may not need that for a while, but this lean Canva that I sent out, it's going to allow you to kind of put your ideas on a piece of paper and allow you to be able to change that as you move forward in your business. Getting funding, that's another thing we'll talk about. The proper licenses and permits. That's huge, because depending on what state you live in, depending on what town, what city, there's all types of different permits and licenses that'll come into that. Buying a food truck, we'll talk to Patrick about that in a little bit, understanding what is that process, what it looks like, how much money should you spend when you first start out. Purchasing equipment and supplies. Patrick, you guys also do equipment and supplies as well?
Yeah, we're a one-stop shop. So assuming you have your food truck concept well designed, we're not going to review your business plan. We are going to help you get funded, and we're going to make sure that you're going to pass inspection. Passing inspection is probably the most critical portion of the process. If you don't pass inspection, you don't have a business. Understanding that process, and our company, for example, cannot be hired to go pass that inspection for you. It's like if somebody hired you to go get their driver's license, you have to go and get your driver's license yourself. You got to take the test yourself. You got to take the driving test, etc. So we'll prepare them for it. We'll walk them through the process. But at the end of the day, the owner needs to understand what is required.
I love that. I mean, to be honest with you, if you're going to start a business, you have to take ownership in everything you do anyways. So you want to make sure that you are ready for this. Like you said earlier, are you ready to be in that hot kitchen? Are you ready to go through these things? If you're not ready and passionate about it, you're going to be wasting your time and your money. So we'll talk about purchasing equipment and supplies in a little bit. Choosing a POS system, that's, if you're not tech savvy, that can be a nightmare for some people, because it's like, how do I do all these things? Now I'm trying to make my food. Now I got to run a POS system. I've learned how that works. So we'll talk about finding the right POS system for your needs. Marketing. For me, there is no better way to market your business than social media. It's free. If you can kind of create that organic group of people that follow you and want to have your food, they become word of mouth. They'll just tell people about your business, and business just comes into you. But you have to build that social media presence when you start an actual food truck business. I started off by talking about this, but find your target market. Ask them to buy your food, vet the idea, vet the idea, vet the idea. You may make a burger. It may be delicious to you. It may be delicious to your family and friends, but your family and friends are probably not going to eat there every day. You need to go out there and you need to find actual customers who thinks your burgers or fries or tacos or whatever are just as good as your mom and dad does. Because until you find that target market, you're going to be always hunting. Bill, can you talk a little bit about when you work with businesses as far as helping them find their target market?
Yeah, sure. I think, like I said, it's important to understand what the product is that you're going to sell. And maybe I sometimes call this benchmarking. Like, go see what other food trucks in town are doing. See who they're selling to, what their clientele looks like, and what are their products. So you understand whether you have a product that's exactly the same as someone else, or do you have something that's unique that people are going to love? And I think that's really important.
Yeah. At the end of the day, taking that time to go out there and do the research, that's the biggest thing to start in a food truck. And from what I've seen, in my opinion, I've seen so many people just say, hey, I can make good food. I'm gonna go out there and do the thing. And they're like, well, I don't know why I'm not getting any business. Well, you have to take the time to go out there and do the research. Take the time to go, like you said, go to events, go to different food trucks, take the time to talk to other people in the industry to understand what you're trying to do to best put together your best business model to move forward. So I say ways to do this, again, going to different events. Social media is huge. I like to go and join different local groups and kind of find out, just have conversations within those groups about anything that I'm trying to start, to kind of find that early adopter that's going to basically show up day one to buy my actual product. So social media is a really good way to do that. This is going to kind of be a brief overview of everything, guys. What I'm hoping to do, if you like more information after this, you'll be able to contact me and I can basically walk you through anything that I've talked to and kind of help you dive really into what I'm talking about when it comes to finding your target market. And again, we just talked about this. And so when you're looking at this, look at existing food truck businesses and concept to kind of understand if you have anything different. Look at even restaurant concepts. Go out there and see what restaurants and what they're doing, how they're managing their business. Look for the average demographics of the population. Understand, certain people eat certain things, right? An older person may not eat spicy food, so they're not your target market. So everybody isn't your target market, right? And so go out there and look at the demographics of the area, look at who's eating what, so that way you can put yourself in front of that demographics and sell them the thing that they want. Look for spaces to set up your food truck. Where can you set your food truck up at, right? That's gonna be huge, because when you're first starting out, you wanna find spots in town that has your demographics surrounding you or passing by you, so that way you can sell your product to them. So finding a key space in your local area to sell your product, that's going to be huge, whether it's a church parking lot, whether it's a Home Depot, whether it's a school, whether it's a large manufacturing plant. If you can find that home base, that's going to always give you that place to go back to, maybe on Tuesdays or Wednesdays or Fridays and Saturdays. They're going to allow you to be able to set up shop and get that revenue coming in. So you're not always bouncing around to different events, which, don't get me wrong, the events are going to be huge for you in the food truck space, because you could potentially see 1,000 people in one day at one event. Again, looking for busy streets and times where your customers can come. Finding those local spots are going to help you stay key. Creating those local contracts with a large manufacturing plant, or with their church on Sundays. If you can create those contracts where they're going to come allow you to set up your food truck the day you open up, you're going to have customers coming in buying your food. So again, look at existing concepts as far as restaurants, food trucks go. Look at the demographics of your area and the food you're trying to sell to make sure that there is a fit there. Again, what is your food truck concept? You want to be unique and you want to be memorable. I can tell you right now, the last thing I ate at a food truck. Why? Because of their presentation. So it's Barrio tacos. Those tacos, I don't know if you had them yet, but they're just deliciously amazing. And the way they presented it to me was 3 large tacos on top of each other, wrapped in cheese with juice just falling off of them. And they served everyone just like that, to the point where you remember that taco. So when you get home, you're hungry, you're starving, you want to have that thing again. So being very unique and very memorable, that's very key to your food truck concept. Be descriptive and attention grabbing. And so when you create your menu boards or any of your online social media content, you want to be very descriptive. You want to let people know that it has this type of cheese in it. It has this type of meat in it. This meat came from this place. You want to entice people to want to taste your food, right? Whether they're just looking at the menu board or they're on social media looking at your actual product. Clearly express your intentions without being too specific so that it can allow for growth. And so what that means is you don't want to be too detailed. You just want to give me enough to grab my attention to come in and buy the thing. So that way it allows you to be able to pivot if you want to pivot to add another item to that actual thing that you're actually making. So if you're making a taco this way, if you're too specific about it, people will want to see it that way all the time. But if you just give me a brief overview of it, there's an opportunity to, grab my attention, have me come in and buy it. And if you decide to change something on that menu or on that item, I don't really notice because it still tastes delicious to me. So keep that in mind as you're putting together the entire concept of all that. So this is the lean camera that I sent out here. Hopefully everybody got it. If not, I can send you guys one out. But this is the basic overview of a business plan. This is going to give you the little bits and pieces that you need to get started day one. So that way it's not like, oh my God, I don't know how to write a business plan. With this, you don't need to know how to write a business plan. What you need to know are some key features. And so your customer segment, again, that's that target market. What is that target market? Early adopters. What is that early adopter? Who's going to be the first one that's going to show up day one when you open up your food truck? What's your unfair advantage? Is your mama's barbecue sauce better than everyone's barbecue sauce in town? And that becomes your unfair advantage. That is how you're going to be able to maximize what you do and generate a ton of more value in what you sell versus what everyone else has got going on out there. Your channels. List a path of channels to be able to help you get to your customers. This comes in again with social media. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even Twitter at some points, Snapchat, all these different platforms, they're going to allow you to get in front of your customer and be able to entice them to let them know where you're at to come buy your food. Your unique value proposition. Again, something that's going to help you get an overview of what you're trying to offer to people. Your high level concept, your key metrics, your solutions, the problems you're trying to solve. And that's going to sound weird because what problem are you trying to solve in the food truck space? What you're trying to do, in my opinion, when I tell food truck owners, you're trying to solve the problem of people being hungry. What is it that you're going to do? What are you going to make that's going to solve that problem of people not having to be hungry anymore? Existing advantages or alternatives, existing alternatives. What are some existing alternatives that already exist out there that can potentially be your competition and slow your revenue generation down? Cost structure, we all know about that. What's it going to take for you to do A to get to B? What's it going to cost you to get started, and how are you going to generate revenue? That's where the revenue streams comes in at. This is, again, when you look at your menu items, you want to sell the best of things you sell. Don't be that company that goes out there and puts everything on the menu because they're trying to serve to everybody. And this is where that target market comes in at. You want to find that customer that is going to truly love your food, tell more people about your food, get them to love your food, and keep repeating that cycle. If you can do that, your revenue stream becomes the 5 burgers that you sell, and you only serve 5 burgers with fries and a drink. That becomes a thing. Don't go out there and try to create 50 menu items on your truck, because you're gonna have to stock a bunch of stuff, and I guarantee you half of that stuff is not going to sell on a daily basis. This is, again, when you want to go out there and you want to vet your idea, the things you're trying to sell. Go find the business items on your list, or the menu items on your list. Go find those and go find the people that want those. And you can expand after you've kind of created that customer base that's generating real revenue for you. Otherwise, you get yourself in the weeds. Bill, thoughts from you on this concept? I mean, as far as this lean canvas goes, I know you've done detailed business plans. And so when you look at this, what do you see as a difference?
I think this is a lot simpler and gets right to the point. And if you can answer all these areas and put something in each of these, I think this will serve you really well. I would also advise you that if you're going to start a new business, which a new business truck is, make sure that right off the bat that you do the business formation correctly. And to do that, I would recommend that you have, number one, an attorney, a business attorney, and number two, a good accountant help you do that. So you make sure right from the beginning, you have this structured. So number one, you personally are protected, but number two, you have a plan in place to operate a business in a real manner that is going to meet with the requirements of your state and local governments. And of course, when it comes to taxes, you need to have all the tax IDs and all that sort of thing. So it works. And I think if you do those things, then you just got to work hard and make it work.
Love it. So Bill, so when you talk about an attorney, I mean, what type of attorney, and I'm asking this question just so everyone else sees. Of course I know what attorney you're talking about, but just so they type of attorney you're talking about, what type of attorney am I looking for to get my business started? And I know that word can be scary because anytime you hear attorney, all you hear is numbers, probably money going out the door, right? And so, I mean, what does it normally cost to look at having an attorney help you set up your business properly so that when you are running a legit business?
You know, I know a couple business attorneys locally, and usually they say the first consultation is free. Of course, they don't do anything for you for free, but they'll at least talk to you and tell you what the plan is. I would think, you know, $500-600 and you're up and running. And it's not much more than that. They can help you, you know, like I said, get your business registered with state and local governments so that, you know, your business name is protected and you're legit a business. And those things are so important. It doesn't cost a lot of money to do this.
Yeah, and so I agree with you. I mean, spending $500-600 to make sure your business is right from day one, so you don't have those worries going down the road. It's worth the $500-600 in my opinion. So
Right.
definitely recommended. Thanks for that insight. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So let's talk about funding. We're moving faster. Just kind of giving a brief overview. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to chime in or drop something in the chat box. Ways to raise funding. People look at when you start a food truck is it costs so much money to start a food truck. And depending on where you want to start it can cost a lot of money, but you can start as having a simple trailer. I'm not a trailer, a cart. I know people who do it out of their house just to even get started. For the simple fact is they're just generating that revenue to get going so they can go buy that first cart, go buy that first trailer and work up to that actual food truck, which, you know, is always the goal to end up in an actual food truck. But, you know, community sponsors, going out there. And again, when you're having people sample your food and you're vetting your idea, ask them would they pay for this. Matter of fact, ask them to buy a gift card right now. If they're truly wanting to buy your food and wanting to have it again, ask them to buy a gift card right now. And that money's going to go towards opening up your food truck where potentially you may give them their first meal for free. For the simple fact is that initial revenue you generated them, think of it as crowdfunding. I call it food funding, but think of it as crowdfunding. Being able to have someone invest in you before you even open up your door day one. Again, that allows you to know that you have customers day one because they're investing in your business. Personal investors such as friends and family, you know, that can be tricky, having friends and family invest into your business. But if it's clearly sought out or clearly set in stone of what that looks like, you should be okay. But having friends and family invest in you, you can never really go wrong with that because that is your friends and family supporting you. Small Business Association, there's all types of loans and grants out there that you can look into that can actually help you start your business. I know in North Dakota, there's tons of grants out there to help businesses start a food truck. You just have to go out there and look into them. And different associations like the one we're working with right now to host this workshop, they can potentially help you find some of that funding to help you start your business for equipments, for loans and financing and so on and so forth. Bill, do you know anything in the North Dakota space that helps people start their businesses as far as funding goes?
I don't really know about funding because I didn't use any of it. I started it out of my pocket with a credit card. And I don't necessarily advise that, but it is a way to get started.
Yep.
And, certainly the SBA is a good place to start. And I should mention that, the SBA has a group of retired business people that can give you advice on starting a business like this. And don't be afraid to tap into that.
Yeah, definitely. Patrick, they're coming to you buying trucks, trailers. I mean, where are they getting their funding from?
Yeah, so a lot of them, first thing I would say is work on your credit, right? If you have bad credit, you won't be able to do a startup. Startups are one of the most, one of the hardest types of businesses to start because not a lot of lenders want to take the risk on something that's brand new. Having said that though, there are banks that are willing to fund startups if the history of the person that is requesting the funds can show that, you know, they pay back the loans. So I would say, make sure your credit is around the 650 area or above. And then you can use different programs from different lenders. We have startups up to $50,000 through 3 different lenders that you can find on our website. And so if you want to keep your investment below $50,000, there's a lot of banks out there that will help you do that. Interest rate is going to be a little bit on the higher end. You know, it's not going to be anything like paying a car payment or a real estate loan. So you're going to be anywhere between 12% all the way up to 18%. There are programs out there that can provide you a rent-to-own program. I would not recommend those because all rent-to-own programs, in my opinion, are repo businesses, and they're looking to repo your stuff and get it out there again and just start cycling that over again. And the interest rates are out of this world. So there are programs out there. There's a company out there, a nonprofit called Lift Fund. Lift Fund provides funding for women-owned businesses. We've had several of our clients go through Lift Fund, LIFTFUND, and then Central Funding, Lease Corporation of America. There's a company that we use called Click Lease that you can get up to $20,000. So there are plenty out there. And Brian, I like the way that you shared this because you can raise capital from friends and family. We started our business by raising $75,000 from friends and family. You know, I put a business plan together. I put financial projections together. I showed it to our friends and family, and I paid them 12% interest for 2 years on the money that they lent us, and we paid them back, right? So we didn't start paying them back until 3 months into the business, but that's also a way to get it done. Crowdfunding, Kickstarter, pre-selling meals, you know, that's a great gift certificates. If you go out and you sell 100 gift certificates at $100, that's what's that, $10,000?
10K, man, 10K all day.
10K. Now you got $10,000 to put down. If you have good credit, you just got the down payment for a loan. But don't underestimate how much money you're going to need, because the trailer or the food truck is not the only funds that you're going to need. You're going to need working capital. You're going to need inventory. You're going to need rents. So always add that extra 3 to 6 months operating to the business plan.
Let me ask you this question, Patrick. I mean, you're in the space, so you know it very well. I mean, to legitly open up a food truck cost-wise, so that way they got a cushion, they got a padding, right? They're good for a couple months. They're not stressing. How much money do I need to open up on tomorrow?
So, I mean, that could go from $50 to $100 to $200,000 easily, but depending on, if you want to start the lowest on the low end, let's say a 12-foot trailer with some cooking equipment, fully loaded, you're gonna need about 35K with US made trailers, right? Because there's trailers out there that are being brought in from Mexico that cost half, but you get what you pay for, and you probably have to replace it 2 years down the road. So if you want something US made, I would say 35,000 for the trailer plus an extra 10,000 working capital opening funds.
Okay, so like I said, around $50,000, give or take, a dollar here or there to kind of get you up and running.
Yes, sir.
I mean, and like you said, I mean, if you go through a bank, you're not talking 50K up front. You're talking, you know, a certain down payment to get to that 50K, right? That's right. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, because
most will fund 100% of the actual trailer. So if the trailer is 35,000, they'll fund you 35, and you'll have another. If you have 50,000, or if you have 15,000, for example, you just kept $15,000 for working capital that you can use towards your opening.
you know, I always tell all the food trucks that I talk to, I tell them to think about it as going to buying a car, thinking about it as buying a house, thinking about it as, and I tell them that in a sense of the way where you're just gonna be making a payment on something. It's gonna be generating revenue for you. The car you drive does not generate revenue for you. The house will eventually, you know what I'm saying, once it gets to the point where it's making money for you, but you're actually investing into something that's gonna generate revenue for you day over day over day. So don't think of it as $35,000 or even $50,000. Think of it as, have you went out there, have you vetted your idea? Do you know people want to buy your stuff? And if so, day one you open up, you should be able to make that payment and more to where you're a profitable business. To me, it just makes sense to make that investment. And like you said, if you're truly serious about passionate of being in a hot kitchen, I'm actually going to start using that now, because to me, that's funny, because when I think about it, are you passionate about being in business? But honestly, you have to be passionate about being in that kitchen, because I grew up with my mom being in the kitchen, and when I would go help her in the kitchen, it would be hot in that bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'd have to open, and I would dislike it. And so having to do that all day, every day from my job, I would have to be truly passionate about it to make it happen. So I honestly think that it starts with being truly passionate about being in that hot kitchen. And if you are, then look forward to moving forward to creating your own food truck.
I don't know, but you know the Caitlin story that we talked about, on my podcast earlier this morning.
Yep.
Caitlin started with an $8,000 food cart, hot dog cart.
Yep.
And she sold out the first day she opened. She sold $3,000 on her first day. And then the second day she did 35 bucks. So, like out the gate, she did awesome.
Yep.
Out the gate, she did terrible.
Yep.
And so, but she got a sense of what it takes to run the business. And she's been crushing it ever since. And so what I will say is don't give up. Like, you're going to have highs and lows. And so if you decide to get going, don't quit. Just keep going.
It's funny. So when I was watching your show earlier, I wanted to chime in so bad. And so my main thing is data focus, right? It's understanding what you're getting into, understanding where your target market is, understanding how you get in front of them, and understanding how you get them to come back over and over and over again, right? And so it's like understanding day one, she probably just opened up day one and just sold food. She collected zero information. And so she had no way to retarget those people to get them back a second day, a third time, a fourth time, or a fifth time. And so for me, it's when you open up a business, make sure that you're ready to start collecting every bit of data you can about every customer that comes to the door, first name, last name, phone number, email addresses, what they ate, where they ate it at, meaning what event you're at, and then to be able to retarget those people that information, because I know Steve loves my bacon cheeseburger. He's been here 3 times this week. If I send Steve a 15% off, I'm more likely going to draw Steve back to my truck on a slow day. And so potentially the first day when she sold 3,000, could she at least sold 1,500 the next day based on all the data she had collected and use that to retarget or thanking people from coming to her business day one. And so that's one thing that I try to teach, these food trucks when they open day one is be ready and have a system in place that is going to collect as much data as you need, because on those slow days, you're going to need to retarget people to get them back in the door. Otherwise, you will have those slow, painful days. And those days are not fun at all. So,
Brian, you're onto something. Data is the new gold rush, bro. Data is the new gold rush. Get as much of it as I don't care what business you're in. Get your client data.
Yeah. If you can do that day one of your business, you are more likely to succeed than fail. You're more likely to spend less money on advertising and marketing because you have that in-house data that you're going to be able to use to retarget. And there's platforms out there, like I'll show you one here in a minute, that we developed called Get the Food Book. And it was developed to take that off of businesses' plates. Like, we don't want you to do another thing. We just want you to be able to cook food. Our platform was built to be able to collect all the information for you and then automate the retargeting for you as well. And so all you have to do is go in and say, okay, every week, send out a text to these customers and retarget them to get them back in the door. But once that process is automated and the system learns who's coming back to buy your actual food, you're more likely to, again, to succeed and spend less money trying to get people back to you. But you're also more likely to find I call them your brand fans, the people that are just going to praise you and talk about your food on a daily basis because you're creating this relationship with them through this actual food platform. And that's kind of why we call it the food book. And we think of it as the Facebook because people love food. And when they find a good place that they love, they will continually come back and check up on them and eat that food on a daily basis. And so when you can create, again, those brand fans, you have a better opportunity of succeeding. Let's move on let's talk about licenses and permits. You touched on this a little bit earlier, Patrick. So, I mean, if you can touch on just a little bit more, this is huge because like you said, you can spend all that money, come up with the concept, and then go out there and then not get a license or permit to be able to sell your thing, which means you wasted your time. So can you talk a little bit about that for me?
Yeah, the easiest thing you can do to start is Google mobile food unit requirements and the county that you're in. Every single county is different in the whole United States of America. I'll give you a clear example of this. In Houston, we have 2 different health departments, one for Harris County and the other one for City of Houston. City of Houston's health requirements for a food truck are different than Harris County. I would love for the U.S. to simplify and create one for every single county or state, but that's almost impossible, I think. And I don't believe in things that are impossible. That sounds like an impossibility, but just Google it. Google food truck, mobile food unit requirements and the county that you're in. If there isn't one in your county, there's got to be one for your state. And that's where you start from there. And they have it broken down with a checklist and a rule book. And that's what you're going to use to take to your manufacturer and say, hey, build me a trailer that'll pass this requirement.
Love it. I love it. And so I just dropped it. I put a link here, everybody, for North Dakota. And so if you like he said, just Google it. No matter what state you're in, what city you're in, just Google it. Something will pop up. It'll give you the brief overview of what you need to be able to take to a company like Patrick's to say, hey, build me this thing. So that way I can pass and get my license, get my permits while I'm not going to be stressed out. So if you're in North Dakota, there's a link right there. Click that link. It'll take you to what North Dakota is asking for you to be able to have a food truck out there. But thanks, Patrick. I appreciate that. All right. This is where Patrick comes in at. He's actually in 2 different meetings right now, so we appreciate his time right now. So buy a food truck, a trailer, or stand. What's the process like? I've got my permits. I've got my licenses. I show up at your door. What are the next steps?
So when you show up through our door, we're going to discuss how important this project is to you, right? If you've planned out how you're going to be operating, we're going to need to know if you're going to be 100% mobile, or you're going to be at a fixed location, you're going to be renting a spot where you're going to open from 8 to 5, or you're going to be moving around all day. Once we know your menu and what you want to serve, we're going to design we don't do carts or stands, so we can give you a food truck or a trailer. So we're going to talk about the trailer or truck aspect. Depending on the budget, right, the trailers are going to be anywhere from the lowest 35,000, the highest 100K. But that's a massive trailer. I'm talking 30-foot and like a full loaded kitchen. Emergency vehicle style trailers. Then a food truck, depending on your appetite for risk, you have to decide, okay, if you want to be mobile and all you want to do is jump in a truck and drive around, then a truck is for you, but you got to consider that budget is going to play an important part, because a food truck that you drive, used truck, new equipment, is going to be right around 85K, with the risk that that truck might break down on you. So a brand new truck, brand new build out, you're looking at 150,000 plus. So if you are adamant that you want a food truck, you got to think about your budget and where you're at. We'll design it. We'll put the equipment inside, and we'll consider every aspect of standing out in terms of marketing, in terms of use, in terms of efficiency, where you put what equipment, right? Because you don't want to be running around inside. All these trucks or trailers are already small.
I was gonna say cramped. Yeah.
Cramped, right?
Yeah.
Small. So if you don't design it well, you could be running around and bumping into each other, and it'll create chaos inside an 8.5 foot by 12 foot box, or 8.5 foot by 14 foot box. So we got to think about, okay, what menu are you doing? How are you going to top these up? How do you want to serve them? Where are you going to take your orders? Where are you going to give the orders away? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll go through that entire process. And if you are interested in the food truck, you can actually go to our website, and on our website, you can customize truck, trailer, or Sprinter van, and you can choose the equipment. We don't have every single piece of equipment that you can think of, because you can think of anything and concept that you want, and you could probably put it in the food truck, right? So, but if you want to understand where you're at or what it's going to take, go to our website, and then we have a ton of valuable videos to help you get started in terms of understanding how to price a menu, how to understand a P&L, how to, all the business side of that aspect, which is completely free. And it's on our website, it's on our YouTube channel for you to get started. And then you'll know exactly where you stand. And then all you have to do is figure out, all right, this is how I want it done. This is the county where I need to get a permit. Now I got the funds. Let's get started.
Yeah, no, I like that. So I'm glad you talked about the flow. The flow is like huge when it comes to being inside of a kitchen or being inside of a truck or a trailer. I've been in some of these food trucks, and they're legit in the sense of where their flow is like seamless. But then I've been in some food trucks where they're grabbing stuff over here and they're grabbing stuff over there. They're bumping into each other. So and when you're thinking about building out a truck or a trailer, make sure you understand the flow of how you're going to be preparing your food, so that way you maximize the time of you serving? Because would you say that one thing that is key within serving food is speed, Patrick? Like, I don't want to wait forever to get the food, right? So you want to have your flow down so your speed is there, right?
Especially if you're doing high level events where the volume of people is in the thousands. You don't want to be the truck that it takes 15, 20 minutes to get food. You're not going to get the amount of volume that you need to be profitable if it's taking 15, 20 minutes per customer, right? Your menu has to cater to the type of business that you want. Now, if you can go out and create a gourmet style food truck where all you're focused on is experience, but you're not doing an event where there's thousands of people, or you are doing an event where there's thousands of people, but you understand, okay, I'm only going to capture 100 of these people today. But if you want to capture 1,000, then you got to get ready for that. You got to get ready to prep your food, maybe cut down your menu. So you don't have to do the same things for every type of event. You can customize your menu to serve the event that you want to be at. I got clients serving tacos, $1.50, $2.50. They open Monday through Sunday, 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. They're doing 50,000 a week out of one trailer.
Nice.
Right?
Just on top.
Location, they don't have to move. They understand their process. They know how much food they need to prepare. They know the type of tacos they need to make. And that's all they serve. Tacos, gorditas, or tortas and quesadillas. That's it.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on that. So understanding, so right now, we this year we probably booked about 500 different events for different food trucks that we're helping them get food trucks on, right? And so every time someone reaches out to us and says, hey man, we need a food truck for this event, I ask details about that event. Again, this is that whole data collecting. I ask details about that event because I want to put the right truck in front of the right customer to make sure that they maximize their sales. And then I also tell them to trim down their menu and make sure that their process is so seamless that if they flow and they can maximize and get 1,000 sales in one day versus, being a slow process, being slow in the kitchen, that time being slow to where they're not generating enough money. So I'm glad you touched on all that, man. That's huge in this, especially when you're talking about doing events. And we had food trucks that were doing different events this year where they're doing the total event was like 50,000 people, right? And so there's an opportunity that they could potentially serve 50,000 people potentially, right? And so you may not be able to do that with one truck, but can you reach 1,000 of those people a day? And at $10 per item, how much revenue are you really generating off of events like that? And can you do 2, 3, 4 of those a month and feel good and make enough money to where during the rest of the week, you're not having to scramble to do that. You find one location, you sit up there and like your taco truck, they'll from this time to that time. And then at that point, can they be a $600, $700, $1 million food truck business? And yeah, they can. Some of the food trucks that we work with right now, they're doing $500,000 to $1 million a year out of a food truck. That's insane. Some restaurants aren't even doing that well. But being able to move your food truck or your trailer or your cart to where the people are, where the demand is, that's just smart business. And to me, moving forward in the future, I see food trucks being like an ice cream truck. They pull up in neighborhoods, and next thing you know, they're serving that neighborhood, and they're doing that throughout the day or certain times of the week. They're just pulling up, setting up, and neighborhood people are coming like the ice cream truck, and they're supporting that local food because it's delicious. We've set up quite a few different apartment complexes. So these massive apartments, they're doing 300 apartments in one building now. Well, that's potentially 2 people living in a building. That's 600 opportunities for a food truck to go out there and generate revenue. And so we've been actually pushing towards that business model. And so now these these apartment complexes, they're basically having food courts. We'll send 2 or 3 food trucks out. People come outside, they're mingling, they're hanging out, they're eating the food. It's becoming a thing, especially with COVID hitting and all that stuff like that. I mean, people are looking for different options where it's not necessarily going into a brick and mortar. Well, these food trucks can pull up in your neighborhood and serve. And so these apartment complexes and neighborhoods are booking out food trucks where they're creating neighborhood events or apartment events. So lots of opportunity from a food truck from a stand. Patrick, you touched on a ton of it. We could go into this all day long because there's so much that could go into where you should set up and how you find your target market. But again, we can talk about this more down the road. If you need more information, please reach out to me. Patrick talked about purchasing their food truck equipment and supplies, and they basically can help you with all of that. If you take a look at this photo, it can get very detailed as what you need in the back of that truck to make sure you're maximizing your sales. Patrick, they're very good at what they do. Like he said, they're helping 25 to 30 different people every month customize a truck or a trailer to fit their needs. And so if you guys need anything, reach out to Patrick. And like he says, their Facebook page, their website, their YouTube channel has a bunch of free information to help you customize your truck or trailer to help get you started. So please utilize that tool. Go check their stuff out and see what they offer. POS systems. We can talk about this for a little bit. You can dive in the weeds with this. Get the food book. This is the platform that we developed it. We're blessed enough where North Dakota gave us a grant. Again, this is going out finding grants to build your business. North Dakota gave us a grant with the Innovate North Dakota program, and I developed this software for true food trucks, restaurants, and pubs. It's software where the customers are able to order their food. They basically scan a QR code. It takes them to an order platform. They order their food. Once their food is ready, they get a text. And so this software allows your customers never have to wait in line. It allows you to be speedy. Because now as the orders are coming in, you're not looking at this long line in front of you and getting stressed out about having to serve that line fast enough. As the orders come in and you finish the order, the system automatically sends out a text, letting the customer know their food's ready. They can come pick their food up from the pickup window. The great thing about this software, it allows you to be able to collect first name, last name, phone number, email addresses, to be able to retarget those customers on Facebook, through emails, and through social media. It automates that entire process. This software was built on top of Square. Square is a national POS system. It's been around forever. All we've done is allow this to be the customer facing, to allow you to be able to play videos of your food, photos of your food, to make your menu more engaging, to be able to draw people again into certain menu items or even upsell your items. The first thing a customer sees is your double bacon cheeseburger because you got leftover meat from the day before and you need to get rid of that meat. And so you want to upsell that item first. And so the first thing I see is a beautiful photo, a beautiful video of that food enticing me to potentially purchase that item first because I'm hungry right now. This looks delicious. I'm going with this. The system allows you to do a lot, but again, we can dive into a rabbit hole of POS systems. If you guys need any help, please reach out to me. I know a ton of them on the market. I help food trucks pick different ones every day. I always say, hey, ours is an opportunity, but if it doesn't fit your needs, there's other POS systems out there that may fit your needs. Now, I'm going to jump back to build on this one. I'm going to start with merch. So as a food truck owner, what types of things could I use for my business as far as merch goes that's going to help me draw people back to my business?
Well, there's probably endless products. If you went to our website, totalimagingonline.com, you would find that there's over 1 million items on that website. But I think, there's a lot of things, from everything from pens and little spatulas to, tongs that are maybe a giveaway with your order or something just to get them to come back. I mean, I don't know. You could pick I could come up with 10,000 items probably, but maybe one of the first things that's really important is just to put all the people that are working in your food truck in a logoed shirt or a t-shirt. You want them to be comfortable, but it's pretty important to keep your name right in front of the customer. And any product that you like, that we can put your name on is probably, or well, not probably, it is a good marketing idea to just keep people with your name right in front of them always. So like I said, clothing, I think, is one of the best things.
I never realized, Bill, so banks gave pins away all the time, right? And it's just a pin, and I never thought about it until I go to use it and I see Gate City Bank on the side of that pin. And the first thing I think about is Gate City Bank. And so
right.
When you talk about giving items, you're like, well, why would I give someone tongs or something like that? Well, because when they're cooking in their home and they're using your product, they're going to see your brand because they want to eat your food. So to me personally, I try to put my brand on everything. If I stay top of mind, I'm more likely to sell more things, right? And so staying top of mind by having that type of merch, whether it be pins, sweatshirts, hats, hoodies, tongs, stickers, whatever it may be, having that stuff out there is going to help drive business to your business. So think of it as an investment. Is that what you tell customers? Think of it as an investment?
That's what we say. And, I hear people say all the time, well, does promotional products and advertising really work? Here's what I always say about advertising. It's very difficult to measure the return on investment. but absolutely any advertising works to a certain degree. You just have to figure out what you're willing to invest in and, you know, try to figure out what gets people's attention and gets them coming back. But in the beginning, mostly you just want to get your name in front of as many people as possible.
Yep.
And therefore, I think even a pen, I used to say, you know, I don't know if people are going to pick up the pen and call you, but that's been proven false, because I have had people pick up my pens that I try to scatter about the community. And one of my friends always says, I've got so many of your pens, it's covering the dash in my pickup. I said, well, that is exactly what my goal is.
Yeah.
So, because then you'll give them away to other people, and you just don't know where these things are going to end up and who's going to see them and who's going to think, I want to go visit your food truck and or get that burger or taco or whatever it is that you're serving.
Yeah. You know, and I see food trucks from starting out to major food trucks. And the ones that start out, I always tell them, yo, you at least got to get some shirts for your crew and yourself. You at least got to stay top of mind when you're serving that food. They just stare at your logo, stare at your thing. Again, it puts you in their brain, hopefully embeds it in there. And as long as that food is good, it's a done deal. More likely you get them to come back. So I appreciate that input on that, Bill. Let's talk about logos as well. So getting a very attractive logo, that's key nowadays. McDonald's is McDonald's for a reason. Burger King is Burger King for a reason. That logo, if you get a very visible and attractive logo, that'll help you stay top of mind of your customers. So when you're looking at doing your logo, make it an investment. When you're looking at doing this food truck business, make it an investment. Your time, your energy, the effort you're going to need to put into this, it's all going to be needed to make this business succeed. So look at going out there, finding Fiverr. If you know what Fiverr is, it's Fiverr. You can get a logo made for like $25. I kid you, and I'm talking about a professional made logo for like $25. Google on Fiverr is the name of the company, but they can do logo, they can do videos, they can help you create social media content, the entire nine, and it will not break your bank whatsoever. Fiverr, check them out. Menu board. Again, when you're doing a menu board, whether you're showing your food online or offline, you want to make sure that it makes me want that thing. Anytime you're posting on social media or showcasing your menu board, try to stay away from words. People are visual creatures. Nowadays, if I go to a restaurant and I see a PDF menu, I am frustrated. I want to see what the food looks like. You're posting photos on social media, you have them on your website. When I walk into your business, why do I have to read words? You're more likely to sell that double bacon cheeseburger because I can see it versus the words that are on there. And so focus when you're doing your menu boards, try to do digital menu boards where you're using photos and videos, because you're more than likely going to sell more items by creating content like that. I help food trucks every day on social media. I'm like, you have to post more videos, more photos of your food. Stop just talking about where you're at. Yes, we know where you're at, but what's going to drive me to you, right? What's going to get me to come to your thing? And more than likely, it's going to be a photo or video of your food and me thinking, oh, I want that again, I miss it. So keep that in mind as you're designing your menu boards and working on your social media. And let's dive into creating your social media accounts. Please do me the favor of going out there and joining every social media platform there is. It makes zero sense that you do not take the investment into that, but you have a personal Facebook page or a personal Instagram page or a personal TikTok page, because this is for your business. You have to make sure that you're top of mind on every social media platform there is. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And you don't have to go out there and be like everybody else, or you have to create this amazing content. Just start placing content. Eventually it will come to you. It will become very easy for you. You'll be in the kitchen making your food. You'll pop out your camera, or when your staff will pop out their camera and they'll take a photo or video of your food, and boom, now you have social media content. Don't worry about going out there trying to make professional reels or professional content to compete with everybody else. Just create content that gets me to want to come to eat your food. And eventually, again, it'll come to you where you start creating better and better and better content, but you need to start somewhere first. So go out there, join every platform that is out there possible, and start promoting your business. It's free. It's only going to cost you your time. You can be sitting down for 5 minutes and you can go literally post on 6 platforms within 5 minutes. And it can potentially get you a certain amount of customers that come into your actual business. So make sure you focus on being on every social platform and make sure that you're posting 3 times a day at least. We're talking about morning, we're talking about lunch, and we're talking about dinner. By doing that 3 times a day, you're going to potentially catch customers that are not sitting on social media all the time. But I wake up in the morning, I go in there really quick. Oh, look at this burger. I'm gonna grab it for lunch now. Or I go in there during lunchtime looking for lunch, or even looking for dinner items, but I'm looking at it on lunchtime. And same thing for dinner time, you're getting top of mind for the next day. So when you're posting at that 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night type of a thing, and you can automate the process of posting on social media to where you can go on Sunday and then schedule out 3 times a day, every day, and it goes out there and does it automatically for you. You don't have to physically go out there and do it every day and post. Once you realize when people are engaging with your content on social media, that will let you know, hey, from 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning, people are looking at my content on social media. Then you schedule that post to go out there then. Again, this is something I can help you guys kind of dive into and what that looks like. But at the end of the day, Facebook gives you a dashboard. It tells you when people are engaging. Instagram does it. They tell you when people are engaging with your social media content. That allows you to create a schedule to be able to go out there and schedule that content as well. So don't get afraid of saying, oh, I don't want to be on social media all day. I don't want to post all the time. Take time on Sunday, take an hour out of your day, schedule the entire week and do that every Sunday. And that just becomes a part of your business model. Or teach your staff. Teach your staff how to become your social media army to where they're posting content for your business, make it a part of their job description. I wrote an article for Spotlight Media for restaurants. It was called How to Teach Your Staff How to Become Your Social Media Army. The people that work for you, they potentially have 5,000, 10,000 followers on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever they're already at. And so every time they like and comment on your stuff, that just moves your business around to their friends and their families. And the more people like and comment, it's organic growth for your business. And so think of social media as a marketing and advertising tool that doesn't really cost you any money. You already have the assets. You already have the team members to go post the content. You just have to put the process in place to make sure that it's being done every day. And I guarantee you, every day you'll see growth and you'll see revenue coming in to the point where you're like, wow, this social media stuff is really driving business and really generating revenue for me, but it doesn't really cost me a dime. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about not wanting to do social media. You need social media to thrive in business nowadays. You need to figure out what that business model is and how to use it more efficiently. Again, if you need any help with that, reach out to me, let me know. Find unique locations for pop-ups. I call them your home base. You want to find, when it comes to marketing and advertising, you want to find a busy road. You want to find a church, a Home Depot, a manufacturing plant. You want to find somewhere where that becomes your home base, where 2 to 3 times a week you set up there, and that's paying all your bills. And anytime you go out there and you do events, you're now generating profit off of those. So you're paying your bills at your home base, and every time you go to a big fancy event, you're seeing 1,000 people. You're doing 10,000 at that one event. You're doing 4 of those a month. You're doing 40 grand just on those alone. At the end of the day, you're generating $480,000 a year by setting up this business model. I tell the food trucks that I work with that this is not rocket science. This is literally not rocket science. If you collect the right amount of data to know where you should be setting up your truck, to know what benefit events generate real revenue, understand who your target market is, and understand how to get them back in the door, from day one, you should be successful. If you follow the business model that we've put in place to help you understand where to buy your truck at, how to get your permits, how to set up your social media accounts, how to collect the data to retarget your customers and understand who they are to better serve them, you will not fail. I have not seen a food truck that's worked with us yet fail, for the simple fact is we're giving them everything they need to go be successful. We're not making it confusing, because honestly, this is not confusing. You make good food, go find the people that want it and they will buy your food. Super simple. Patrick, you got anything you want to add? I see we got some people writing in here. I'm going to chime in on that. I saw you walked away for a while. I mean, just at the end of the day, when I come to you, I bought the food truck and trailer from you. What advice can you give me that's going to go out there and help me succeed?
I mean, looking at what you're looking at right now, understand social media marketing is going to be your best friend. I love referral business, but if you understand social media, the highest converting social media apps right now are TikTok and Instagram for food. And so you have to remember that your business is appetizing not only to the mouth, but to the eyes.
Yes.
And people buy food with their eyes a lot. So if you can get your food in the eyes of as many people as possible in your area, obviously you don't want to be like in Houston and advertising to people in Alaska, for example. But as many people in your area as you can, the better. That's what I've seen in terms of the number of clients that we have served. The most successful ones are crushing it in the social media game from the beginning. And so that's something that I think is not highlighted enough by most food truck manufacturers.
Yep.
And we're not transactional. So if you guys need help, obviously Brian can help you, and he's gonna put you guys on that game. But don't sleep on social media and marketing and advertising. That is your business. If people cannot find you, you cannot sell to them.
Right. Pat, joining a local foodie groups. And so to me, that is the most smartest thing you can do as a food truck owner, is go join as many local food groups as possible. One, to start the conversation about the business you're going to try to open up, to kind of vet the idea. But two, to be able to just create the connections, like you said, of having people's eyes always looking at your food. So you guys have a couple groups too. I mean, how many groups you guys have, or how many followers you guys up to now?
We have 3 Facebook groups.
Okay.
The whole sole purpose of our Facebook groups are to help people get in the game. So there's a lot of other food truck owners in there. I have a Facebook group called Food Truck and Trailer Tips and Tricks. Food Truck and Trailer Owners Tips and Tricks. It has 27,000 members. Food Truck and Trailer Life, which has 40,000 members. And then if you're looking for like secondhand food trucks or trailers, we have a Food Truck and Trailer Life for sale, which has around 76,000 members in it.
Nice. And so those types of groups are the groups that I love. For the simple fact is, I'm brand new to this thing, right? I'm a brand new food truck owner. I joined one of your groups. I'm going to meet a ton of other people who had to start out first too, right? They're going to give me a ton of amazing advice. They're going to help me walk through this path so I don't fail as much as they failed in the beginning. And so I love groups like yours, and even with the groups that we've created, which is the Where's My Food Truck and the Where's That Food Truck, they're only developed to, one, find food truck foodies, two, to help food truck owners become successful. Groups like that, if you can go out, and they're free to join. We don't charge to join. I know you guys don't charge to join, and there's hundreds of them out there right now. In every different state you go to, there's going to be a food truck group talking about something. If you join those groups, you'll be able to find your customers. You also be able to find your community, in the sense of where your food truck community, people that are going to be going through or have went through the same things that you've went through. So look to join those groups, as many as possible. They're free to join. Again, take 30 minutes, an hour out of your day, go sit in there, go comment, go have a conversation, go get feedback about your ideas. Take that time, invest in your idea to understand if people even want your thing, or are you going to be able to handle all the stress of being in the hot kitchen, like Patrick said earlier. And if you're not, this isn't the business for you. That's just what it is. And so, but if you do your homework, you will be able to find out if this is. Looks like they started the recording back up here. I'm looking at the chat to see if anybody's chatting in here.
Someone asked about the recording. Is that going to be available to the people that joined?
Yes. Everybody who's attended, we're going to drop this out there. You'll be able to watch it over and over again. You're also able to reach out to us as well. Let me see here. Oh, yep, there's a 501 right there. Yep, got the recording. Website for the used Facebook name. What's that for? Anybody? What was that for? Oh, that was you, Patrick. Okay, you got that one. Someone asked about the data collected from the food book. We're collecting first name, last name, phone number, email addresses, what the customer ate, what event they're at, how much money they actually spent. We're collecting everything you need to have on that customer from day one that walks in the door. In my opinion, and not just because I developed it, because I developed it after talking to thousands of food truck owners, after asking them, what data do you have? Well, I use Square, and Square has my data, but I don't know how to use it. Well, having that data and not knowing how to use it is completely pointless. You want to understand how to use it so that way you can maximize what you're trying to do with your business. And if you don't do that, you're going to end up falling short very quickly. You're going to spend a bunch of money paying someone else to advertise your business. But even paying Facebook to go out there and do a boosted post can cost you money without any real results of, are you generating any real revenue? Well, the great thing about the food book, it allows you to know the fact that you sent Jimmy a 15% off, and then Jimmy came back in on Tuesday and purchased something. It'll help you understand the life value of your customer. So the food book can do a lot for a business, just a matter of, what do you need, and then how can it help you out? But if you guys need more information on that, you can guys go to the website. I dropped the link in here. Go to the website, check it out. It'll kind of give you more. And if you want to end up doing like a sit down, have a more conversation, you can do that as well. But what I would like to do now is when this is all said and done, I'm going to put together a brief breakdown of what we've talked about here today, so you guys can kind of go through it again on your own. And if you guys need any help, please reach out to me. If you need any help, please reach out to Bill. Bill has helped hundreds of businesses. Bill, start. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's helped hundreds of businesses start. So he has a lot of information in his brain, not necessarily just in the food truck space, but any business out there. He's helped tons of them start. Patrick, as you know, he's knocking 35 to 40 of them out a month, helping them get started. So if you need any help, go to his websites, give him a call, email him, check the YouTube channel out. If you need any help starting a food truck, we're here for you. Let us know if you need anything from us. I want to thank you for everyone who joined us today. Looking forward to helping you move forward in your journey. Reach out to us if you need anything. Thank you for your time, everybody. Are there any other questions? Oh, yes. And please visit the JRC Center if you guys need any help as far as potentially looking for, find out for any grants or any other things they may be able to help you guys out with. Please reach out to them as well. The link has been dropped into the comments as well.
Someone just asked a question about storing inventory.
Ooh.
So food trucks and trailers are by nature, they're small, right? So you can't store a week's worth, 2 weeks worth of inventory, but you can figure out a way where you're carrying 2 to 3 days worth of inventory inside your trailer. And that way you don't have to go out and get a commissary, but there are commissaries out there. There's commissaries for food trucks to dump their dirty water, and there's commissaries that'll rent you space to store inventory, and commissaries to prep at, like commercial kitchens that they'll rent you space for very cheap, for $100 a month, or for use of it at $30 an hour or $45 an hour. So definitely look into commissaries in your local area, but figure out a way where the inventory that you need is 2 to 3 days max, and you can always resupply. You can keep a freezer at your house and then resupply your food truck when need be.
How critical is that? I mean, because I go to an event where I'm supposed to see 5,000 people, but I can only store 3 days worth of food. I mean, is that the situation where I think earlier the girl was talking about how she had to have people bring her food on a constant basis? I mean, is that what it's like?
That's a different animal, though. I mean, when you're at an event, like we did an event when I was the CFO of a restaurant group, which is 100,000 people over 2 weekends. And so the actual event space, the event organizers rent reefer trucks to store your inventory because they know you don't have space to store food for that many people over a 2 weekend period. So they'll rent reefer trucks. And so the big events, you always want to ask, hey, you guys gonna have any storage for us? Reefer trucks, especially if they are longer than 2 days and you're talking about thousands of people. But for 5,000 people, when you're spreading it out over 15, 20, 30, 40 vendors, you don't really need the inventory for the total amount, 5,000, because you're not going to capture 100% of everybody there.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I talk to food trucks all the time, and it's sometimes they overstock and then they get ticked off because they overstocked, right? And or they understock. And I say, to me, I'd rather understock or overstock and make sure I got an event the next day to be able to use it, right? Because I mean,
I think of cross utilization in your menu too.
What do you mean by that?
That, one piece of chicken can apply for 4 different pieces of things on your menu.
Okay.
And so if you have chicken inventory, it doesn't go to waste because one of your menu items isn't selling.
Yeah.
So cross utilization, and then you make gumbo with everything that's left over.
I mean, come on, that's just smart. Every Friday's gumbo, right? It's the week's leftover type of stuff. But I mean, honestly, like you said, being able to maximize your inventory, that's just smart. But also making sure that if you're going to overstock, again, make sure the next day you have another event booked, so that way you're just going to take that food, move it to the next event, so you're not going to be out anything. And if you do understock, just make sure you got friends and family and employees with an extra car beside you that's going to be able to go out there and grab what you need to grab to keep you moving throughout the day. Because the one thing you do not want to do, you do not want to run out of food at an event. People will look at you like you are a freaking plague. They will be very, very, very unhappy with you if you run out of food. So figure out what it looks like to make sure if you're going to overstock this next day, or if you're going to understock, you got friends and family that's going to be able to go out there and bring you food when you actually need it. Am I missing anything? Is there something that anything else we can touch on, Patrick, really quickly? Bill, anything from you really quickly?
I don't think so.
Okay. Patrick.
Yep.
Okay. For me, again, like I say, we're here to help. If you want to get into the food truck business, you got 3 guys right now in front of you right now. Plus, you got the JRE Center over there right now. We're willing to help you open up your food truck, help you get the idea, help you vet the idea, help you go out there, figure out what your marketing looks like, help you figure out the food truck trailer aspect of it, help you figure out the legal aspects of this. We want to help you succeed. So if you need any help from any one of us, please reach out to us. We're here to help. So thank you for your time today, everybody. We appreciate it. Everybody go have an amazing day.